We was putting it on the top of Pier 92, New York. The ship was all out of the boot camp, and the boot camp go with which this was still in Norfolk, and they put us there on top of the Pier 92, New York. They had sleeping quarters all up there for Pier 92. And I told some of the boys, I said, fellas, I tell you right, you better get your heart right with God, because we going overseas.
And the first day I went aboard the ship, Chief looked at me. He says, "You're new." I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "We got a Gray Marine diesel engine in the other room there. We've been working on that thing for about 6 months, and they couldn't get it up. Take a look at it." I went in there and I looked up, like, right up in the corner, there's one shelf up in there. I saw just like pages of a book or something. I took it down. It was a repair manual. I put that sucker in order in 1 hour and 42 minutes. I was back, and he says, "You're kidding." I said, "No, it's working now."
And I read the manual before I went out, and I mean, it was like, to me, it was ridiculous. These people were shooting in the ground and all over, and I just put round after one right in the bullseye. So after I fired 30 in there, the officer that was in charge called the range officer in charge of the whole range. And that range officer said, "Can you do that again?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And so I in those days, you didn't do the double hand, you used the single hand, not this one, but this one. And I put 29 through the bullseye, and the last one I missed the bullseye about 1 inch. And he said, "Why did you miss that last one?" I said, "I don't know." And he said, "I do, you got cocky."
When I got there, the first briefing I went to, the very first one, was how to escape from South Vietnam when it fell, where the country was that close to falling. And I was going to be down the Mekong Delta as an advisor to an infantry battalion down there. And basically they said, just steal whatever you need to do. Get a boat, get a motor if you can. If not, row it, but go down the Mekong River, and the Navy will be down there to pick you up in the South China Sea. So it didn't look too good when I first got there. Of course, that was 1965, and then the American troops got there about mid to late 1965, the actual units. And that's when the war then went on for 10 more years.
Right thing. So it was an experience. Mm-hmm. It was a life experience in dealing with the war in Vietnam, and everybody that was there had a different experience. It depended on where you were assigned, what you were doing, and the people you were with. This country's been good to all of us, and we need to give back to it in some way or another. And I think military service, be it on active duty or National Guard, because on the National Guard side of the house, you're giving back to your community through service when it's a hurricane, floods, whatever it may be. That's right. And I just think it's important to give back.
For those that are come in initially, you're looking at training, education, adventure, money, a chance to serve your country, and a chance to travel. And even if we have young people out here with law violations, believe it or not, many law violations are waiverable. There are exceptions to some law violations. So just because a young person has had some trouble in their early life, there's a possibility they can still serve their country anyway. Because we all need help. We're all uniquely different, and we all have strengths and weaknesses, myself included, of course. I have weaknesses. And that's what it's all about, helping each other. We're all human beings in this great pond of planet Earth. We're all in this together. So
I got my wife, and I got everything out of her service. Everything that I can get out of it. The Lord's with me all the way. I think as a nation we should give back more than what we got, than what we're giving now. Mm-hmm. I think that's the people in this country is going for what they can get. And I don't believe that everything in this world is what you can get. It's what you can give. What you can give to other people.
You live for what we call mail call. And then you're standing there, and then just think about it now that, you know, some of the guys are, I didn't get a letter today. I didn't get a letter today. You know, but it was just awesome, man. Just to, when you get that letter and you get it and you look and say, wow. And my parents, same way. You know, my mom, she kept close contact with me, but my wife, it was like every week. It takes a while for them to get there, but, you know, you probably would think, what do you have to talk about? Man, a lot to talk about, you know?
When I said I was going to be an engineer, right, I was like, then he said, combat engineer. Guy called me in the office and he said, okay, Mac, he said, we got your assignment back. He said, you're going to be an engineer. And I was like, wow, I'll be dealing with blueprints and dealing with the how, whatever. And then next thing you know, it was a combat engineer. And I was like, oh, and I tried everything I could to get out of that thing, but I just couldn't. But I made the best of it. It was tough. Sometimes it was tough, but I would never, you know, when I look back at it, it had made me a better person. Like I said, with the responsibility and the confidence that I developed.
Coach Mike and I, career kind of similar. You know, he and I was in Germany, different time. I went to Germany. There was shortly after the Second World War, and there was a whole lot of evidence of the war at that time. And he wound up going to Grenada. I wound up going to Grenada. We might have was there at the same time. Didn't know each other. It's a possibility that the two of us were there at the same time. And it was, I said, you know, I've been pretty fortunate. I done been in the service now 30-some years, and no one would ever shot at me that I'm aware of. I said, I better get out of this thing.
I was an only child, and I could have whipped around. Dad had a deer or two, and if you had milk, that was a big thing back then, you know. And I didn't have to go, but I just told Mom and Dad at the rest of my age and cousins I had to go to. Well, you learn to get along with somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
And try to get by the best you can.
December 23rd, 1967, I got hit by a claymore mine in a firefight. I got hit in both of my legs and in the stomach and side, and had to be medevac out from there to I was in the field. I can't remember where in the field I was, but it was all on somewhere near Highway 1. And from Highway 1, they sent me to Queen Yan, which is a field-based hospital, and from Queen Yan to Japan. In the meantime, all they could do was just give me antibiotics and not sew me up, because I had more stitches in me than I think them enough to put in the string though. And through I guess through hard work, prayers, and believing in God is what kept me alive and held me today to where I am right now, to continue to press on and not to look back, but to look forward.
And they wanted to give me a bad discharge. You know, not a bad discharge, but a discharge where I wasn't, I couldn't get any benefits once I got out. A journal discharge. A journal discharge means, yeah, this guy served, but don't hire him because he ain't no good, you know. And they did that to a lot of people because of my attitude. Because when they gave me a hard time, I gave them a hard time back, you know. I mean, and I did that. It was, you know, I mean, it was wrong, but I kind of spoke my mind on how I felt, you know. If you spoke to me nice, I spoke to you nice, if you spoke to me nasty, I gave you nasty, you know. I mean, sometimes I didn't say all I wanted to say, but I said enough so you understood what I was talking about. Then I made up my mind I was going to do a better job, and I kind of switched, you know. Instead of being that nasty Smitty, I kind of did more than I was supposed to do. And because of that, my life really changed in the Air Force.
What went to my daddy told me not to go in the Army.
You didn't really have a choice, did you?
No, because it was drafting during that time, you know. What the whole thing was all about me, that I didn't like to be using guns and things, and they be in there training you to do all kind of things, you know. And that's how I learned how to shoot guns, shoot pistols and stuff, you know, you know. And so I could find out, that's what I understand why my dad didn't want me to go in the Army, because it was a type of thing that you had to kill, fight people and do things to people that you didn't know anything about. I go back to the Bible.
Okay.
I read the Bible, certain chapters in the Bible, certain places in the Bible, and we did had all these wars and all this killing and everything there. And I said, this looks like it could be a normal type thing. And I mean, I said, well, I understand what is be going on, but then, if I don't have to get involved with it, I just don't go into it. That's all that.
It's just something I had to do. I did it. I didn't tell you about the other boys that were killed. Buddy Ben's part of it. See, I went on to several different other islands. I went on to Karamaretta Islands, with very few casualties. One lady, on Guam, a lieutenant was killed in mines. On Lady, a lieutenant was killed. And that left me and Captain Burgess, he was wounded on Lady. And that left me and one lieutenant with what was left of the company. And we went on to two other islands and ended up on Okinawa, the biggest battle in World War II, was Pacific.
Right.
And that's when Lieutenant Clark was killed. And that left me as the only one left in the company. It's one of those things you think back and you just wonder how in the heck anybody could go through what we went through. And so many of them didn't come back.
My responsibility was basically, the basic responsibility was to find people to put them in the Marine Corps. That's basic. But there's a lot that goes into making that happen. So I had an opportunity to meet and talk to a lot of young men and young ladies who had a strong desire to enter the Marine Corps, but were not able. They could not academically pass the tests required. I understand fully the reasons why they did not allow these people, they did not qualify, you did not qualify. If you don't qualify, you don't qualify. But I was kind of more burnt with the fact that I have to tell someone you're not good enough to die for this country. And that's in essence what I was telling them. So in deciding to become a teacher, I was like, I want to give people more chances, not necessarily just to go in the Marine Corps or any branch of the service, but the fact that you have this option. And you say, I don't want to do that because I don't want to, instead of I'm not doing that because I can't. And that kind of is really truly my goal right now as an educator, making sure every person I come in contact has the greatest opportunities to do whatever.